Let's get into this Roland Martin conversation. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and check into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
People are talking about the firing of Tucker Carlson. Then Don Lemon gets fired at CNN. All right? So he's been on thin ice because supposedly back and forth with Caitlin Collins and Poppy Harlow. Of course, John Malone made clear.
What is up with that makeup? Where they get these pictures from? Yo, Don, they making you look bad out here. They making you look like like Michael Jackson out here in these streets, bro. Don, don't let them do this to you, bro. Make a phone call over to Roland Martin. Jesus, he got them extra white teeth too. Got them Hollywood whites that they tried to offer me when I got my teeth done. Don't give me them Hollywood whites. Give me one hue lower. Give me one hue lower.
He took over, that he wanted them to be a little bit different, more like Fox News in the reporting. Chris Licht has made it clear he wants the network to attract more conservatives. He wants them to be more down the middle, less rancor, all that sort of.
Now it's coming out. So this guy with this receding hairline, I don't know his name, but he wants to attract people that are more closer down the middle. He wants to attract the people like me and you, the guys that's over here at AntonDaniels.com and in the Patreon. And they understand that liberals don't spend money, but conservatives actually support their networks. It's just a fact. It's a fact. Conservatives generally spend more money. And I'm not talking about consumer spending. I'm talking about to support the platforms that they truly believe in versus people that are more liberal leaning tend to be broker, a lot more poor, and they don't support the people that they actually say that they love. And you can kind of see it within the black community or the blackity blacks, right? Pro-black people are always broke telling somebody else how it is that they're supposed to move. But that's a whole other conversation. Let's continue. I like this Roland Martin right here. The take that Roland Martin is taking right now, I like it. I like it.
Sort of stuff. Then the folks at the New York Times, they are saying that this interview last week with the Republican nominee for president, who's Indian American, this played a role in Don getting fired. Listen to the interview.
Due respect, I find your explanation reductive and actually insulting, including to Black Americans.
It sounds like Don Lemon was getting waxed in this debate, in this conversation, but neither here nor there.
To say that black people today, compared to 1964, 1865, haven't made progress in part because of the freedoms we secured. And the Second Amendment was
black
part
people,
of what secured
hang on,
that
please.
freedom.
I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear. So hang on 1 second. So to say that black people, say what you said again.
Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after their Second Amendment rights were secured.
They
That's
were
a
not
fact.
secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not, you are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the Civil Rights Movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to happen.
And you know how they got it?
They
got their Second Amendment rights, and they actually got, the NRA played a big role in that. But today, Don, the
NRA did not play a big role in that.
Absolutely, they trained black Americans how to use firearms.
That's a lie. That's not. The NRA did not play a big role in that.
This is just historical fact.
It's not historical fact.
The part that I
just
find...
because you say it's historical.
And ABL says Chris Light replaced Jeff Zucker after Light became in. CNN fired Chris Cuomo and Brian Stelter. Don Lemon was next, but they needed a reason to fire him without being excused for discrimination. So Don Lemon's head was always on the chopping block then. ABL, you saying that Don Lemon was always on the chopping block and they wanted to get rid of him in the first place? Just to remove the possibility. So they basically was waiting for Don to go ahead and throw himself under the bus. And when they seen this play out, and when they also seen what was happening when he went full Kevin Samuels and said that a chick was was past their prime, that gave them all the ammunition that they needed, especially since they suspended them for 2 days, in order to be able to get rid of Don. All right, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
The part that I find
historical
insulting is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have
The
gone
fact
through
that I find
civil rights
insulting
revolution in
is
this
that
country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I
know
have
the
a different
freedoms
point
that
of view.
black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view.
When did the fact that you are black meant that you knew what you was talking about historically, about how black people secured their freedom? What does that have to do with the price of potatoes in China? A fact is a fact. It don't matter. Like, he's acting like he lived it. Like he was walking on an Underground Railroad or something like that. Like, and this is the weakness that comes along with certain people that's within this community, is that you're unable to be able to have a conversation objectively. And so that affects how it is that you communicate to the people that you're talking to. And when somebody that's not even black comes on and they start speaking facts versus how you feel don't matter, right? This is a refusal to acknowledge that somebody actually has a reasonable point, and you just don't know what you're talking about. You got waxed. Now I'm incentivized. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow's show, but I'm incentivized to go back and look this up and to break this down, because I was not even aware of this until Mr. Roland Martin decided that he wanted to talk about it. But I'm incentivized to go and review this video in order to break this down to see if Don Lemon actually sealed his fate as a result of having this conversation.
I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate
I'm not saying you
without
shouldn't
me
express your
regarding
views,
you as a
but I think
black
it's
man,
insulting that
but
you're
me
sitting
regarding you
here,
as a fellow citizen.
that you're
That's what I
sitting
think we
here,
should see.
whatever ethnicity
That's a fact.
you are explaining to me
Whatever ethnicity
about
I'm, I'll
what
tell
it's
you,
like to be black
whatever
in America.
ethnicity
I'm
I'll tell
sorry.
you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this
on
debate.
the content of the
If you're
ideas.
going to do it, you should do it in an honest way and in a
I
fair
think-
way. And what you're doing is not an honest.
Yeah, he went blackety black. He went full blown blackety black, and he did the same thing that women do he used a woman's tactic. You can't channel the inner Kevin Samuels on one show and then go full blown female on the next show, and then start using ad hominem attacks, or you start saying I feel like, or start relating it back to what you look like instead of having an objective. I can sit here and say, yeah, we should hold women accountable, and that there's a bunch of baby mamas that's running around here unmarried, having kids out of wedlock, and then raising men to be feminine, and they don't know that you're supposed to stand a kid up, especially a boy, in order to teach him how to pee instead of always sitting them down on the toilet, because you don't really understand what it takes in order to raise a man. Why you need two parents in a household, and kids that are raised with two-parent households married tend to turn out to be much more successful, less likely to go to jail. Like, I can say that. It doesn't matter of whether or not you're a woman and you feel a certain type of way. And it's the same thing as it relates to black people. It's the same thing as it relates to sexual preference. It's the same thing across the board. You can't sit here and then feel a certain type of way as a result of what it is that you look like, even though you've never been through it. If somebody is giving you an objective view or what it is that they deem to be a fact, you can research it, you can debate it, you can use another fact in order to go against it, but you can't then bow out of the conversation and because you feel a certain type of way because of the color of your skin. It's a coward's way out. It's the same thing that women do on a regular basis.
It's a fair way. Okay? But we appreciate you coming on.
With
Thank
due
you for
respect,
that.
Don, I look forward to
Thank you very
continuing
much.
that
I appreciate
conversation.
it. We'll
Thank
continue
you.
the conversation.
Thank you.
You so much.
Thank you, Papa.
All right, so let's unpack this. All right, now first of all, if the New York Times is saying that interview was part of the reason why he got fired, that's weak as hell. Now, what's also crazy, if you actually saw the whole deal, Don was not trying to even be in the conversation. Poppy kept asking if he wanted to say something. He was like, "Nah, I'm good." And then he finally did. Damn, in hindsight, probably wanted to stay quiet. I think probably what pissed them off was that comment, whatever ethnicity you are. Okay, if you just listen to the interview and how they think in terms of how the folks at CNN, how they operate, that could have been seen as dismissive. All right.
Roland Martin could quite possibly be the biggest troll on the internet. I think that Roland Martin is starting to be a person that I like reacting to a little bit more than Umar Johnson, because he's off. He's off on a lot of different things. And the only thing in order for Roland Martin to be able to agree with you, The only thing that you need is to be black. It don't matter what gender you are. It don't matter. You got to be black and you got to be liberal. I'm sorry. It's two things. You got to be black and you have to be liberal. It's the only two things that you need in order for Roland Martin to be on your side. You can be wrong as two left shoes. You could be a woman. You could be a man. You could be a kid. You could be a drill rapper that's robbing people like King Vaughn and got 10 bodies over there in Chicago. And we know that Roland Martin is never going to hold you accountable unless you say that you are conservative. Then he will come against you, and then he will have a hard debate for you. Let's continue.
But here's what I need people to understand. And whenever these things happen, and these firings and stuff like that, I love it how, like, even during the whole Dominion deal, everybody kept talking about how powerful, the power that the Fox News host had, that Sean Hannity had, the power Tucker Carlson had, how they were even more powerful than their bosses, CEO Suzanne Scott. Y'all heard me say this when we talk about athletes. Ooh, LeBron.
You know, it's so funny. Somebody said you're the same with right-wingers, Anton. Well, why is it that I actually advocated for and stomped for Andrew Yang, not based off of his socialist policies of the $1,000, but that he actually understood technology in the way that America was going, out of ignorance to an extent, because there was a lot of other things, obviously, in hindsight that we can't look back on. Why is it that I actually supported Andrew Yang? See, y'all just talk. Y'all don't really know, but it's documented, right? And that I don't entirely look at whether or not you say you are a Democrat or a Republican, right? It's plenty of people that I would never vote for just because they say that they're a Democrat or a Republican, right? But the fact of the matter is I am very conservative in my values, and that I do lean more to the right because I do more closely identify with the ways in which this country is supposed to be ran from a person that looks at it from a more conservative perspective. I think that we've become way too liberal. I'm not going to get into that. I'm a deep dive. That'll be a part of my ending monologue.
He's the most powerful NBA player. Do y'all see the shirt I got on? It says black owned.
Oh, Jesus.
The only people, see, take that part off. The only people who got power are the people with the own part. It don't matter if Tucker was getting $12, $15 million a year. It don't matter if Don was getting 3, 4, 5, 6 million, whatever he was getting. It doesn't matter that Jeff Shell was a CEO and he made 21 million last year. All three of them, employees.
You know what the interesting part about this is, though? If YouTube decided that they no longer wanted to roll with Roland Martin, it's the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my entire life, in that ownership removes the ability for you to be able to have to subject yourself to another group of people. Roland Martin literally panders to his audience. His audience is his boss, right? We all, in some way, shape, or form, in one way or another, answer to somebody else. And we all have to abide by whatever the guidelines are on the platforms or the people that we serve in order to continue to make resources. Listen, let's be real. Let's just keep it 100% all the way across the board. We all abide by YouTube's guidelines in order to continue to have these live streams on this platform. Stop it. At any point, some unknown face, and we seen it what happened when Elon Musk released the Twitter files. At any point, somebody can censor you. Look, I told Rita the other day, hey, Rita, can you hear me? Yeah. Come here, baby. Just a little bit. Yeah. On my other channel, right, when I showed you what was happening as far as the different videos that I uploaded, and it was literally about 12 to 13 different videos, what was happening? They got to be reviewed. Every single one of those videos had to be reviewed. And apparently YouTube was backlogged by like 2 or 3 days, in which I couldn't even drop a video and be monetized on them because every single thing that I had uploaded was yellow. I know plenty of people that's been shadow banned on YouTube and plenty of channels that's been shadow banned on YouTube. All of us in one way, shape, or form answer to, and we can't just do what we want to do when we want to do it, because even if you own your own business, your customers are largely the determination for whether or not you're going to get patronized or not. All you need is one person on TikTok to make a video because they got mad at the person that served them, which is not necessarily a reflection of the business itself. That person just could have had a bad attitude that day. And then they're going to make a video on TikTok and they can literally go and cancel your restaurant to where it prevent people from coming in that otherwise would have been customers. Stop it with this ownership thing, thinking that you just the big boss just because you are taking a different strategy when it comes to content creation. The goal is to make money. The goal is not to be. Let me be quiet. Let's continue. Because it shows the ignorance. And you said Roland has his own app called the Black Star Network. On what platforms? Who has to make sure that, who approves whether or not that application can even go into the App Store? Apple, Android? He don't have his own. Listen, unless you own the infrastructure, even if you own the infrastructure, you still can be censored by the federal government if you don't meet the guidelines that they deem necessary for you to even, you can't even have your own website. If they deem you to be a national security risk or they want to remove you, they will remove you. For some reason, y'all think that just because you created and you name it Black owned or your own, the very shirt that he's wearing right now, I guarantee you he don't even know where the cotton comes from. He don't even know that there's only a few companies within the United States of America that owns all of the cotton and the textile companies that then makes the majority of the content or the majority of the materials that we then use for shirts in the United States of America. And I guarantee you he don't even know that they're not Black owned. I guarantee you he know nothing about that. Why? Because when he got an Etsy shop and you can buy merch from him. Come on, man. Y'all have no clue of what you're talking about. At some point or another, you still have to get approval, right? Even as an app developer, you have to pay the fee to get approval to even upload stuff into the App Store alone. Okay. You think it's sweet. Say what you want to say, do what you want to do without meeting any of the guidelines and see what happens. Let's see how much it really matters. Y'all crazy.
And I keep telling y'all, employees can't get fired. Owners can't get fired. Now, owners.
Tell that to Donald Sterling. Tell that to Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling messed with the wrong hoe, said the wrong thing, and next thing you know, they got him up out of that franchise, and you had Steve Ballmer buying the LA Clippers. Tell that to Donald Sterling. This is a false narrative. Don't sit here and let him sell y'all on this. Being an owner is basically being a servant. Being a boss is basically being a servant. It means that you put the needs of everybody else before yours and you ensure that everybody else is successful and get paid before you. When payroll go out, I get paid last. That's what it means. Being a leader means that you put everybody else's needs before your own, and then you get the fruits and the spoils and the rewards and the accolades that come along with it. It's not the glamorous thing that y'all think it is. There's plenty of people that tell that to Steve Jobs when he got ousted out of his own company from Apple before he came back. Go and watch the movie. Go and watch Jobs. Go and watch how he was crying inside of his own house because he got ousted from his own company. Tell that to the McDonald's brothers where Ray Kroc went in there and he took everything out of them. Sit here and tell me, but come on, man. Stop it. Stop it, bro.
Can voluntarily step down. They can resign. They can retire. They don't get fired. Rupert could turn the company over to his sons. He still owns the stock. So I need y'all to understand, it was a target on Don's back from the moment Warner took over the company. John Malone said it. Y'all, this real clear. Now, Don, y'all got Don's statement? Pull it up. Don released a statement to the press where he said, I was terminated. I was in.
And we all know that CNN already responded to this and said that it was false and that he could have actually met with management, but he declined to, and he decided to put out a statement on Twitter. So take what he's saying right now with a grain of salt. It doesn't even really mean anything. Let's continue.
Informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought that someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I
Fair use. We just reviewing this video. This is fair use.
ever given any indication that I would not be able to continue to do the work I have loved at the network. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play. With that said, I want to thank my colleagues and the many teams I have worked with for an incredible run. They're the most talented journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best. Now, Don been there 17 years. The folks at CNN PR did issue a statement with regards to Don's statement.
Let me tell you something. If CNN came to me right now and they said, Anton, we got 5 M's a year for you in order for you to come over here and create your own show, I'm going. I'm going. If CNN came over to me right now and they said, Anton, listen, we like what you got going on over there. We want to make you a big star and we want you to be able to come over here and anchor this show for an hour a day or 2 hours a day or whatever, I'm going. I'm going. I'm going. I am a bag chaser to my core. I am a bag chaser to my core. I'm going. You can stamp it. You can take that black on. Now, how we negotiate the contract and what's going to be the guarantees and all of that is a whole other conversation. But don't think for 1 second that I'm going to be telling my Patreon members like, hey, we all going over to CNN. We going to change this into a completely different network. This is the Anton Daniels CNN. I'm going. I'm going to get that bag all day long. I'm not going to sit here and stand in front of y'all in cap. I'm going to get that bag. I'm going to get that bag. Don't think for one, you can keep that on owner. I own the money that they paid me for the services that I rendered. And then I use that money in order to continue to put money into the assets that's going to generate me the biggest returns that come. My goal is to extract the resources, and then I can do what I want to do as far as buying the assets. The goal is to get the money. Listen, from one business owner to another. I know a lot of y'all are business owners that tap into the show. From one business owner to another, we leave no bags behind. You know how they say no man left behind? No bags left behind. What we do with the money is a completely different conversation. That's what we tap into. The Patreon link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But no bags are left behind over here at the Anton Daniels Network. No bags. We want all bags in, no money out. All bags in, no money out. All right? Real talk.
Go to my iPad. They said Don Lemon's statement about this morning's event.
Are you going to spew their false narratives? I'm gonna say what they write. Whatever the producers say, I'm gonna be. Listen, today, the Trump administration, I'm going to say what they write. Listen, the views and the opinions expressed on this show is not a reflection of Anton from Anton Daniels specifically himself, but it is the views of the producers that wrote this content for me to say it, and they're talking in my ear and say it with more enthusiasm. The Donald Trump administration, don't think for 1 second that I'm not going to go and get that bag. I'm coming to get the bag. I'm coming to get it. And I'm going to write what the producers got on the strolling screen for me to say it. And I'm going to practice it before I get there. And I'm going to say it with enthusiasm. I'm going to say it with my chest. Do I sit there and tell you not to say what you don't want to say when you tell me, do I want fries with my drink? You say it with your chest. You don't want to ask. Every day you feel in a certain type of way about whether or not I want fries with my burger. Yes, I want fries, and preferably hot. You said you don't want to say it every day. Every day, I come through the same place, and I come to get hot fries, and you ask me if I want hot fries, knowing I want hot fries, but you say it, and you don't want to say it every day, so I can't sit here and say what the producers told me to tell. Whoever your boss is told you to ask me if I wanted hot fries, and you sit there and ask me every day, and you don't want to say it. So why I can't say what they say on CNN? I'm coming to get I'm coming to get that bag. I'm coming to get that bag. CNN.
This is inaccurate. He was offered an opportunity to meet with management, but instead released a statement on Twitter. Let me say this again, y'all. It was a bullseye on his back. When he got moved from prime time to the morning, that wasn't no promotion. He went from having a show where he was the host to a show with 3 other hosts, one that got no business being there on the set, Caitlin Collins. She ain't ready. She ain't ready for prime time. She not, okay? She way too green, okay? She need to go back and get some more experience, okay? So you had all these incidents. The Nikki Haley comment, past prime, big screw up, okay? But the deal is, bullseye was there. Y'all, all the stories you saw drop, the Variety story, the story over the weekend saying White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre wouldn't appear on the show with him, chose to do the interview with anchor with somebody else. Karine, they released a statement that said Karine denies it. Y'all, all those stories came from inside CNN.
I don't really understand what he's saying here. Like, I don't really understand what the point that he's making here. He's basically saying that Don, and he skipped over the whole idea of, you know, a couple of the blunders that Don made, that he basically allowed for them to be able to get him fired without discrimination and all of that. He skipped over all of that part. He said that really, really quickly, and he just skipped right on over that, and he said, we're going to keep on going with this narrative, this black on black narrative. Don had a bullseye on his back. Listen, okay, so they wasn't rocking with him no more. Move on. Move on. They was trying to figure out how to... Anybody has ever had a job that you know that your boss is waiting for you to actually be late one more time so they can fire you? Anybody had a job where they knew you start getting your resume together, you start looking for another job. You knew you was going to mess up. You knew there was no way that you was going to be able to survive through the year in order to get that attendance back together. Some of y'all done been on PIPs before, performance improvement plans. You knew that you wasn't going to make it. You knew that your boss had it out for you. You knew that you was going to be a screw up one more time. Don should have knew. Don should have been planning his exit a long time ago. Don should have came over here and started a YouTube channel. Some of y'all listen, it's quite a few people in here right now. Some of y'all are on performance improvement plans right now. Right now, you're on a performance improvement plan. Some of y'all know y'all on a performance improvement plan. He should have did like all the rest of the black folk that know that their head is on the chopping block. Go ahead and start getting your resume together, getting your LinkedIn set up, get your profile and clean up your social media and start looking for that next job, man. Real talk.
And so I'm just trying to explain to y'all, you got to be aware of what's going on. Tucker, Tucker didn't learn nothing from Bill O'Reilly.
What?
See, Rupert like, damn, I just paid $787.5 million. I spent 32, 35, 40 billion on settlements for Bill O'Reilly. Now I'm gonna have to spend another 10, 15, 20 million on this other woman because of Tucker. Yeah, your ass gotta go. Y'all, employees ain't got no power. They will bounce your ass.
All right, so as usual, Roland Martin ain't really got no hot takes. He don't have no additional insight. He's not breaking it down from a business perspective. He's reading straight from the iPad that somebody else created notes for, allegedly. He's not saying nothing. He's doing the whole shucking and jiving. They will bounce your ass on the pot there as soon as they got you on camera. Boy, we not sitting here. Look, listen to him.
In a heartbeat, and it don't matter.
Okay. Thanks, Roland. Thanks for the hot take.